Good morning, welcome back to the DanGoesOutdoors YouTube channel. Yeah, I'm down on my favourite big pit and I'm kind of starting my spring, summer carping here. And yeah, I've already been leading around and it is weedy, really weedy, worse than I've seen it in years, and don't particularly mind that, but it just makes everything take longer. Like my leading about then was brutal. You know, apologies to the other members because I was casting a lot. Luckily I only used a little 2-ounce distance lead to do my leading around, so didn't make too much disturbance, and the geese are going mental anyway, so hopefully that will have concealed a lot of that. But eventually I found it about 60 yards a kind of clearish area, but it's still slimy, really slimy. The spots that I fished last year I couldn't even locate. So I'm going to go in with some solid bags that will hopefully sit over the top of that slime. And you know, even if it's in it, when that unfolds, everything should be presented. That's the theory anyway. That's kind of why I started using them. Now I'm in a swim that I did well in last year, but that's not why I've chosen it. I've chosen it because I've had a couple of walks around already, and most of the anglers I spoke to have said that nearly all the fish that have come out so far have been in this area between the islands. So it makes sense to give it a go here. I've not got long because for those who know, my child's due date was yesterday. So this afternoon we've got an appointment with a midwife, so I'm literally sneaking it out here. I'm looking at my phone all the time, waiting for the call. So that's why I'm fishing very minimally, just bags, a little bit of bait, and I've got maybe 5 hours of fishing and that's it. This is more or less an extended recce trip, really. Right, let's get this wrapped out, get it out onto that clear-ish area. That went in like a bloody depth charge. I'm not happy with that one. You are massively into the sun there, but anyway, that second cast went a million times better, and when I'm done with my spomming, I'll give you a proper tip, like a real genuine tip for getting your first cast of a day better, because that first cast was terrible. I did a little trick and then the second cast went a lot better. I mean, it hit the clip, went down, even felt a little bit of a drop. So yeah, stay tuned for that. It's only coming in a moment, but you know, got to keep you watching. I'm gonna put a little bit of bait out now. Just a few bits of corn and some boilie crumb, maybe 8 mini spawns. I'm using a small one because I don't want much bait out there and I want to achieve more of a spread, because I've got those solid bags quite spread apart. You know, I'm only here for a short amount of time. I'm not here to feed them, I'm here to catch them. That'll be the day. So I've just rigged my third rod up. I'm going to go in the zig, a kind of shallowish zig, about 3 foot. Well, I suppose that's quite deep because it'll be further down, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I've done really well on zigs in the springtime. In fact, I'd put money on a zig all year round. But I'm about to wrap it up, and I thought while I do it, I'll show you that little tip for getting it out there. First time, every time, I like to say, because those first casts of a day, especially on a day session, are so crucial. You don't want to ruin your swim before you start, which hopefully I've not done. But yeah, I'll get the rod wrapped out and then I'll show you that little tip. Okay, I put 60 yards under the clip, and what I'm going to do is just pour a little bit of water on the spool, and that is all I do. So every maybe 5 wraps I'll pour a little bit more on, because in between sessions this has, you know, the line's gone dry, it's bedded down. On that first cast there's loads of friction, and I think that's what happened on my one there. It just didn't fly like it should, and you tend to find that you can get like little wraps and things, but if you wet it down, kind of lubricate that, it can go through the eyes better. man, the cast is, well, it's so much better than not doing that. There we go, 5 rats, a little bit more water on. There we go, so it might seem a bit excessive, but believe me, if it's the difference between it falling 2 or 3 yards short and actually hitting a clip, it can put more fish in your net. "60 yards first time." And yeah, it doesn't always happen. I know it's not a massive chuck, but like I say, being able to do it first time could make the difference between doing, you know, 3 casts with all your rods, or 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever. That's the rods out and me sat fishing. I've maybe only got 5.5 hours, maybe 6, something like that, before I've got to go. And yeah, as I said, I'm not really expecting to catch today. I'm treating this as more of an extended recce, being able to lead around a bit and just get in touch with it, you know, sit here, watch the water, see if I see anything show, and yeah, just hope that maybe something might happen. But yeah, just to recap, what I'm doing is I've got 2 rods on solid bags, just a bit spread apart over, I think it was 8 mini spawns of corn and broken boilies that I put out there. And then I've put a zig, kind of short zig, just nearish to the island to my left there, because when the sun's out and the wind's lapping up against it, I'm sure a few fish will be taking advantage of that. This springtime is all about the sun, really, and I actually favour my chances just as much on bright, high pressure days than I do those sort of dull, low pressure type days, because, you know, at least when the sun's out, you pretty much know where the fish are going to be. So yeah, I'm going to set myself a task now of tying up a few rigs. Got the feeling that in the coming weeks my time at home is going to be limited, and perhaps I won't be able to sit there going through my tackle box as much as I would like to. So yeah, I'm going to make sure I'm going to take advantage of this time, get some, I think, some solid bag rigs tied, and maybe a couple of hook links for my hinge stiff rig, just so I'm ready, so when I can go fishing, I just get there and get on with it. Right, speaking of which, let's do that now. Big drop back on the middle rod, but I suspect I've actually been done by a tufty, so we'll wind back one in, get it rigged back up, put it back out there. Yeah, pretty sure I got picked up, dragged and kind of dumped in all this weed. I don't think that one was a tufty. Oh, that's annoying. Well, it's a good job I tied up those new hook links, because it turned out I needed them sooner than I thought. So there's another one tied up. Let's hope that I can get it on the money first time and then do the other one, because I've got nothing on my baited spot now. Okay, that's us back in again, both rods out, fresh bags and everything. I'm thinking the first one was probably a tufty, but the second one I think was more like a fish, and even on the hook link the blowback tube was, you know, thrown all the way back to the eye. So yeah, a bit annoying. I didn't actually realise that rig had a barbless hook in. I must have been using it on Norton Disney or something, and yeah, you do get the odd loss with a barbless hook. Well, my alarm's just gone off, alarm clock I should say, and I've run out of time for today. I've got to go to that appointment. Haven't really seen anything. Towards the end there, pretty sure I saw a carp show off to the right of where I'm fishing. I was sort of dozing a bit, heard the splash, looked up and saw the aftermath. There was a lot of birds around, so I'm not 100% sure. And yeah, I'm a bit annoyed that I spent most of the day with tufties, absolutely annihilating my spot. I'm wondering whether I should get one of those like laser torch things that people use. I don't know, I'll see how much they cost, but yeah, one funny take, one that I'm pretty sure is a tufty, and one sort of half showing fish. Yeah, not a great return for 7 or 8 hours on the bank, but yeah, got to be in it to win it, haven't you? Good morning. It's about 3 weeks later, unbelievably, and it is freezing this morning. As you can see, the ground is full on frosty. I had to scrape the frost off my car this morning, and I didn't think I'd be doing that at back end of April, but you know, these sort of spring days can catch you out a bit. And yeah, I haven't been down for a while because in the meantime I've actually become a dad. Yeah, my little lad's here now, and yeah, I won't talk about it at the moment, but if you want to go back, there's a video up on the channel of me taking him fishing for the first time, and also features a massive perch. He really brought me some luck, so yeah, feel free to watch that, because yeah, he's an absolute star. But it's been keeping us up a lot, so I'm not exactly here the earliest I could be. It's about 6:30 now, but by the time, you know, you've got up, changed a couple of nappies, it's time soon gets away from you. So yeah, I'm having a look around. Don't know where I'm gonna go, but I thought I'd just film this bit because you know, this is probably the most important part of the day. This is what will make or break your session, is choosing your swim correctly. So I'll have a look, see if we see a fish. Hopefully the fish will make the decision for me by crashing out or whatever. If not, I'm thinking of staying up this end because it's a little bit shallower and the sun's going to get out, and after that freezing night I think the fish might like that. Plus further down this way there's a few anglers, and I know it's been receiving a lot of pressure, so I wonder if I'm better off up this way. But anyway, we'll have a look, hopefully see something. If not, probably going to start at this end. Sure enough, I set up at the end of the lake. I thought I would. Yeah, not because it's kind of what I was going off, but sure enough, I set up at the end of the lake. I kind of thought I would, and quite happy with it though, because not only is it sticking with my theory, but with it being a bright day today, fish probably going to get in the shallower water after such a cold night, taking advantage of that sunshine. But also I've seen a few small fish top at this end. I did give that far end a try, you know, I went down there, I looked for a while, but just didn't see anything at all. Whereas I have been seeing fish here, not carp, but at least a fish. And I did my leading around, which went a lot better than last week. Normally I fish, last week is like last month. Normally I fish at a decent bit of range from this swim, but I was leading around at that sort of range and nothing, couldn't find a thing. And then I was winding back and I could feel that my lead was still quite clean, so I just let it fall again. And there's a little tip for you, you know, if you can feel your way all the way back to the bank, you might as well do it. You know, you've already cast out there, you've already made that disturbance, so you might as well use the cast. So I let it fall down, I felt a thump, so I pulled it back a bit and it was relatively clear. re-clipped to that distance, and sure enough, at a much shorter range than I normally fish from this swim, found a good area to fish over. It's kind of relatively clean bottom, firm. In fact, on one of my casts I brought back a bit of like a grass stem or something, so I'm guessing it's a bit of a silty collection, but the lead didn't stink or anything, so I'm happy to fish there. And yeah, it's brilliant because of that range. I can fish it a lot more effectively, and it feels like a new spot to me because I didn't know it was there. So it may have been recently created, or I just haven't found it, but either way I'm going to give it a go. So just tied a solid bag on. I'm going to put 2 solids on that range. There's still small fish topping right over where I was just leading up, so yeah, that's really promising. Right, enough waffling, let's give it a go. Okay, a little bit of bait going over it with the mini spom again. You know, the leading about went so well, and the cast went in first time with a solid bag, so it'd be such a shame to crush a big spom over and over again on top of them, so we'll use a little one. I've actually got some maggots with me today from a previous session, so I'll put a few of them in first, then put the rest of my mix on top. And yeah, maggots might just attract tench or whatever, but I feel like if we get a bit of activity going, maybe a carp will come along. Well, looking at these conditions now, what sort of an idiot isn't putting a zig out? So I've tied up one about just short of 6 foot, black and yellow, with a few maggots tied on. I don't normally do that, but since I've got them with me, I feel like I might as well. And normally I goo up a zig, but some nice juices coming out of those maggots, so I think we'll just leave it au naturel like that. We'll cast it around the area. I have seen a couple of bigger fish show. I don't know if a carp or not, but they're certainly not the little roach and rudd I was seeing. Right, let's do this. That's the rods out then, and just to recap, so we've got 2 on a nice new spot, 2 solid bags with about a dozen mini spoms over it, with some maggots as well, and the zig off to the right, and I'll just cast that at whatever I see, and that's on a black and yellow zig with 4 maggots on there as well. So yeah, I'm really happy with where I'm fishing in that. You know, I'm seeing a lot of small fish in the area. My head is absolutely, oh, that's just it settling. My head is on a swivel looking for carp elsewhere, because if I do see one, I'll get on it. I'm going to try and keep my stuff quite organised today, but it's going to be relatively bright and still. You know, I can't believe I was scraping frost off my car at 6 AM and now I'm taking layers off, sat in the sun. It's brilliant. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll keep looking. If we see anything, we'll move. If not, we'll work this area, hopefully get a bite today. It's about 3 hours since I put the rods out and nothing's really happened, but I'm just looking at my first cruising carp of the year, which is pretty incredible to say. It's nearly May and I've only really done a small amount of carp fishing. But anyway, you might be able to see this big tree on the horizon there. It's kind of just in this area here, and it is moving right to left. So as I sort of thought, as the day warms up, the fish would move up into my area. Yeah, it's kind of on the line and length of my zig as well, so let's keep our fingers crossed. Well, I think I just got done on my left rod. I don't know, the bobbin just kind of shot up and went back down, but stupidly I didn't have my alarm on. I think I put the volume round, but not far enough. Anyway, we'll wind it in and get it back out there. There we go, my first tench of the spring-summer season, and it came moments after recasting that bag. Now I was already on my way to tying up my next one, so what I'm going to do is leave that fish in the net, tie this new bag first, get that back out, and then we'll look at the fish. Okay, first tench of the year. It's always a nice thing to tick off. Nice dark male fish there. And while I was sorting this fish out and getting the rods done, another carp cruised by right to left, moving into my area out there. So there's still a chance. I mean, on these day sessions, normally I'm after a few tench and possibly a carp, but we'll see. That's cool, we're off the mark though. Lovely. Come on. I'm gonna go that way. That's better. Oh. Good liner there, I think. Well, nothing's happened since that tench. And I keep seeing carp going right to left. I've not seen a single one go left to right, so it stands to reason that they're probably down that way. So what I'm going to do, since I've only got another maybe 2-3 hours, I'm going to wind in, walk around there, have a good look. What was stopping me from doing it was actually all these geese, but they're not on the bank anymore. A car's just gone by and scared them in, so yeah, I can quite happily walk around there now, guilt-free. stay calm. Unfortunately, my opportunity in this corner has been and gone. I think now I'm gutted to have lost that fish. The only kind of mercy is that I don't think it's one of the big ones. They've recently put a few stockies in, and I think it was one of those. Yeah, but I wasn't seeing any big ones coming. It didn't feel massive. But I don't know, I think I've got to really look at my solid bag rig and get it nailed. It's a new tactic, I'm learning it, but perhaps a knotless knotted curve shank, which is what I had on then, isn't the one. You know, heard Danny Fairbrass say in the past, they curve in and then they can curve back out again. You need something to kind of hold them in, but I'm not sure. It's a very weird take. It didn't exactly zoom off, it just kind of shook about and then came off really quickly. It was a real head shaker of a fish. But anyway, yeah, the weather's changed. Fish have moved out. I think the fact that all the caravans are setting up right behind me as well doesn't help. All the banging of mallets and that, plus losing one. So yeah, I'll wind in. I might be able to try again another day. Big carp fishing. Yeah, it's tricky. Well, I may have just lost another one. By the time I got to the rod, it wasn't even moving anymore. The blowback is all the way up the shank, so yeah. Right. While they're still here, surely I should still fish. Just pat that rod away. Okay, so a few weeks later, about 2-3 weeks after I lost those two fish in the corner over there, I was still fuming about it. And I'm back down just for a day session, and I turned up and fish were showing in front of the same peg I fished last week. So knowing that I've got that spot out there, I'm going to put a couple of fluoros on it, and then it's going to start raining, so I'm going to get the bivvy up and then make a bit of a game plan of what to do. But since I've seen fish in the area, it might just be a bait and wait kind of day. Yeah, it's two singles out there, so I think we'll put the bivvy up and then get some bait over it. Bivvy's up and the rain's here now, so I'm going to get some bait over top. I'm thinking of giving them a bit of a dollop of bait, maybe like a dozen medium spawns. Yeah, it's something I haven't tried for a while, so yeah, let's give them a bit of bait and hopefully it'll bring the fish to us. That's me done and set up. I'm just sticking with 2 rods for now. A couple of bright hook baits over what turned out to be 12 spawns. So yeah, decent hit of bait. And I have seen a couple of fish show just a little bit further from where I saw them this morning. So I'm confident there are still carp in the area. And you know, fishing like this, we're likely to maybe get a tench or two as well, so at least the alarm should go at some point. But yeah, I'm going to use this time to get ready, get some rigs together. You know, I'm finding it really hard at home at the moment to get ahead of things with rigs and that. You know, of having a little, and I just can't be sat there messing with fishing tackle. So yeah, I'm going to use that time now, maybe even type some barbell rigs as well, just really get ahead of the game so I'm ready to go at the drop of a hat. But yeah, it's starting to rain, so I'm glad I got the bivvy up. Let's just chill out for a bit.
Get them ready.
The moment it starts raining, I think we've got a fair jump.
Of course, the moment the heavens open, the bloody rod goes. It's actually a half decent tench, but I'm going to leave it in a net and wait for this to blow over. Believe it or not, I was tying up a PVA bag. I'm not going to be doing that now. Wow.
That's a decent tench, can't grumble at that. And you might be able to see over my shoulder there's some like paddle boarders turned up, so yeah, hopefully they don't ruin my swim, but at least they're quieter than the jet skis. Oh, top lip, that's what happened. There we go, the old soft hinge rig this time. Quite a decent split-tailed male tench here. It's going to be very lively because obviously I had it in a net for a while, waiting for the weather
to improve, but it doesn't really look like it's going to. That's cool though, what? 4 or 5 pounds, something like that. Good to be off the mark. Right, let's get the rod wrapped back up again. Out on that spot. Yeah, hopefully catch fish. It wasn't this rod I fancied, it was the other rod that I thought would go off first. But that's cool. Good lad. Right, let's get him back. Off you go, you're gonna go that way. Get that net off you. Nice one. Fresh hook needed, but we're ready to go. I think we've got our second tench on here. Would like to think a carp would do a bit more than this. It is a carp. I think it's one of the new stockies that went in. This is great. That is so cool. I could genuinely be the first person to have ever caught this fish. Get in! This is actually a really cool fish to catch. You know,
So good that this lake's getting new fish put in it. And yeah, to know that I'm very likely the first person to have caught it and the hook has just fallen out. That's really cool. Yeah, I'll give you a quick show and we'll weigh it. Because yeah, I'm buzzed about this. This is a really deep mirror. I'm gonna get a weight on it. It's not massive. What do you reckon, 10, 12 pound? Something like that. But I just want to know because you guys know I fish here a lot. So it'd be pretty cool to find out how big they are now, and then if I catch it again or one of the other members catches it again, we'll have a sort of starting weight for it. Well, I've just realised in all my excitement, I've never zeroed the scales, but with the sling, it's 15 pounds exactly, pretty much. So, I don't know, I think my estimate of about 12 or so pounds is pretty much right. Oh, yes, that's a beauty, right. Come on, let's hook you up for everyone to see. A carp from here is an achievement, whether it's a stocky or not, I don't care. And a proper high back double like that from a massive Yorkshire pit on a day session. That's good going. I'm pretty proud of myself there. On the it was a pink scent from hell on my soft hinge rig. I'll show you that in a minute. Yeah, that makes up for those lost fish the other day, which I'm pretty sure were also stockies. You know, I was only seeing small fish, and the way the fish just shook its head and then came off, kind of typical of a new fish. Like this one was just head shaking, it wasn't really running, trying to get me around a reed bed. That's what made me think maybe this is more than a tench. You're awesome. Right, quick look at the other side, because kind of want to document this fish a little bit, really. There we go. I know a lot of the members watch, so catch this one again in a few years' time, we'll know how big it's become. But when they have a big hump like that, you often think that's going to be a monster one day. Oh, that's cool. Right, I might pop it back in the water for a bit and then get some pictures for myself. Oh, birthday carp, yeah, from the big pits. Nice little releasing spot here. Already looks like it's been in about 20 years. I couldn't have asked for more today, that's awesome. Let's get another one now. Well, excuse the bivvy, it's an absolute mess. I was having a proper rig tying sesh there. I'd actually gone past carp rigs and I was now onto barbel rigs. I was doing that much rig tying, and yeah, I'm I'm really appreciative to have caught that fish today. You know, not to get your violins out or anything, but past week or so has been a bit of a struggle having a new baby, adjusting to that. Never really had much experience with babies in my life, to be fair, you know. A lot of my mates had kids relatively recently, but we all had them during the lockdown, so by the time I was seeing them regularly, we're all toddlers now. So yeah, it's been a bit different for me, and yeah, nice to get out today and just do something which is effectively pointless. I talk about this all the time, that the way we fish this kind of catch and release pleasure fishing is, you know, the only purpose it serves is to ourselves, and yeah, it's quite nice in a way to do something that it doesn't matter if I walk away from it or if I fail. You know, the only person I'm upsetting is myself. but none of that today. So yeah, here's a rig. I've shown it before on the channel a few times, but probably not for quite a while because I haven't really been doing this type of fishing much. Big pit fishing. I've been focusing on perch and barbel and things, but yeah, nice to get my hands on a proper what I call a two-hand fish. And just for the weight buffs out there, my sling was just over £1, so give or take, whatever, about a 14-pound carp there, which is awesome. So yeah, it's what people call the soft hinge rig. So the boom section here is made of soft coated braid, and the reason for that, or the general reason anyway, the theory, is that with it being softer, it can lie over the top of the weed a little bit better. If it's super stiff, it might kind of get caught up and end up bolt upright, but the fact that it's soft, it can even kind of curl up a bit if it wants to. I don't mind that at all. And the way I set it up at the end here is we've got a loop. I use the loop not to mould the putty around. That's all a bit messed up there. I'll take that off and do that again. I've literally just got this out of the net and shown you it. Yeah, loop, ring swivel, doubled over section of their chod rig material there, so I can change the hook really quickly and really easily. Size 6 chod type hook. This one I actually sharpened a little bit. I don't normally do that, but I had a bit of time in the bivvy, so I sharpened that hook, and when I caught that tench, I swapped it for this sharpened one, and that's what worked. And then tiny little micro ring swivel, and this one was a pink sent from hell. And all I do with that is put it, get a bit of line here, there we go, put it on a lead clip, one of these ones that has the swivel fixed inside, so if a fish does run through weed, the only thing that can happen is the lead comes off, bang, there you go. I mean, yeah, I was doing that with my hands, but you imagine a decent fish ploughing through weed, that's just going to pop right off there. Tail rubber and about 12 inches of rig tubing. There's no leaders on here, so I tend to go down the rig tubing route anyway, and it helps that last bit of line to sink and protect the side of the fish. You know, that fish had beautiful scales on it, and if we were damaging them while they're young, that would just be an absolute travesty. So let's do what we can to protect them. Real solid, everything there is 20 pound plus, so it's all just never going to snap. And when I when I hook a fish on this rig, I do tend to land them, which is one of the big reasons I put it on today, because I was gutted after losing those fish last week. Anyway, I've rabbited on way too much, probably overshared too much as well. This is going to get a fresh hook, mate, fresh hook, wrapped up, put back out there, and maybe we'll get another fish. Yeah, I'm buzzed. Oyster catchers, calm down, calm down. There we go. Ooh. Just popped off. It's only a small fish, and I was just, as always, messing about the camera. Oh well. Not bothered, because we've already had a carp. Well, my hook link was reassuringly covered in tench slime, so yeah, it was definitely a tench that we lost there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to buzz this rod back out, and I'm going to wind in the right hand rod and redo it, because this has done me 3 runs now. That one's done nothing, even though it is giving me the odd beep. So yeah, perhaps the hook link, or you know, something's just not quite landed rightly, even though it gave me a proper good donk on the way down. Well, there we go, that's me all packed away, and yeah, I'm not sure how this video is going to turn out, because even I got bored of filming myself those last couple of day sessions, and yeah, I might just throw a few clips in, but there you go, we caught in the end. Gutted to have lost those 2 fish that last session, but doesn't matter because we come back and caught what I'm told is the biggest of the stockies that went in. So yeah, I'm pretty impressed with that. That's really good on my birthday as well. Can't beat it, right? Anyway, I've got to get home. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.